I think now everyone understands that bringing back all the OG seasons just kind of gives a little boost to the player count. When I mean little, I mean millions. Look, just in OG Fortnite Chapter 1, we got over 3 million concurrent players and only the first day. I mean, in my opinion, it's not that big of a deal, apart from the fact that they're literally bringing back the same exact game as it was prior. Yeah, there's a little bit of new innovation, but it's nothing very major. I think once was fine, but twice, there's rumors and leaks of OG Chapter 2 coming back to Fortnite in November of 2024. Now listen, the real question here is, will this work? And if it does work, will it keep the retention of all of the concurrent players during that season? And will it be as significant as the first OG season? Now, OG Chapter 1 was really fun. All of my friends got on. Some people that I haven't talked to in years, I played games with for the entire month. And I was able to reunite with a lot of old players, and also streamers got to reunite with each other. Because after all, Chapter 1 is considered one of the best times in Fortnite's history. And they brought back the loot pool, the map, along with the map changing every single week. So it keeps the game fresh. If you don't like it the first week, well, you only have to wait 7 more days for the map to change, along with the loot pool. Now, enough of Chapter 1, we need to talk about current day Fortnite. This chapter that we're in right now is the chapter right after OG Fortnite. And obviously, as you can see, it's a lot different than it was in OG Fortnite. The gameplay did a complete 180. We went from minimal movement with launch pads all the way to Iron Man mythics, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mythics, the complete Marvel set mythics. It's too much to keep up with. I don't even understand what's going on. Along with medallions, it doesn't make any sense. And this is understandable for OG players not to understand these mechanics or gameplay items. It's a large issue, but honestly, you can't blame Fortnite. They have to create innovation for their game for players to keep coming back. If it's the same thing over and over again, players are just going to find a different game. Just like how Call of Duty has lost player count because it feels like the same game over and over again. The only time that they had the highest player count was during Warzone 1 and the release of Warzone 2. I believe that Fortnite OG, whenever they brought it back, was just a tiny little experiment that they decided to play off. But in the end, they realized if they just keep bringing back the old map, the old players will come back. However, they're not bringing back the original map. This time, they're doing the Chapter 2 map, which is a completely different map than Fortnite OG. It has a similar loot pool, a similar structure, but it is completely different. You have to keep that in mind. Now, I want to get into the big problem that Fortnite did right after Fortnite OG. And it was bringing a lot of items into the game. Now, I believe that what they did is that they believed more items means more money. They didn't care what it was, they just wanted to put it out, along with the Marvel items we see today as well. Another thing I want to touch up on too is the weapon modifications. I mean, if you just look at all through Chapter 5, they've added new weapon modifications, drum mags, suppressors, muzzle brakes, you name it, they've added it. It's a completely different mechanic that truly does change the game. I mean, think about it. If you use the drum mag today on the Gatekeeper, you get 5 bullets instead of the normal 3. That completely changes the gameplay. Those 2 extra bullets could potentially do 250 more damage, killing another player. And this doesn't keep the game simple at all, because original players do not understand the meta today and how to play the game, because it's just so complicated. It's so spread out. And if you have noticed, I believe that Epic has completely toned back on the quality on everything that they have released. I mean, just look at the gunplay and the gameplay along with the sights. They've brought back and reused old mechanics along with weapon skins and just renaming them. It's the absolute same. If you realize, Fortnite used to have a structure and they would do weekly updates, but it would be small. Now they have just completely pushed out content, haven't done a lot of quality control, which they really need to do because their older audience, ranging 18 up to even 40 years old, will not play the game specifically because of the quality. A lot of these mechanics as well didn't survive even past their season. I mean, think back whenever they did weapon crafting. That only stayed in the game for what, a couple seasons? 1, maybe 2? But they completely threw away that idea And I believe, and they didn't even think of an original idea when they brought the weapon mods. Warzone did that before them, which I don't think it's a bad thing that they brought those. But at the same time, like, come on, man. We have this in another game. Think of something innovative. That's why this game was so good prior. Again, like I stated in my Why Was OG Fortnite So Perfect video, if you haven't already, go check that out. It's a fire video. Fortnite added battle passes, which actually someone in my comment section told me Dota 2 was the first game to have a battle pass. I'll throw the comment up on screen right here. Thank you for telling me that. I never knew that, but Fortnite did popularize it. Along with the building aspect in Battle Royale, that was fresh, that was innovative. Now they're taking ideas from other games and throwing it into their game, which is what made all these other games fail as well. That's why Fortnite is not doing good in this current state. And whenever they brought back the original OG Fortnite map, Chapter 1, everyone came back because they had all the original content. The content was great at that time. And truly, I believe OG Fortnite during that time, last November in 2023, it was the most fun I've ever had on Fortnite. Because we went back to the simple days, yet everyone understood how to play the game. So I don't think it was just nostalgia that made that good. It's because of the originality that made it good. And we only had it for a month. Now, onto OG Chapter 2. I do not think at all that this will boost Fortnite's player count highly. I said it. I know not many of you may agree with me, but Chapter 2 is not the same as Chapter 1. Remember that. It was far less significant. And that's also when the player count started to drop and it was a lot more competitive. The metas are very competitive in this season. I want you to think about Kit's launcher along with her shotgun, the charged shotgun. Not many people like that at all. Along with Midas's drum gun. This is also what started the medallions, is because of all these mythic items. But everyone would land here before just because of how good the loot was. Think back to Chapter 2 Season 2. Yes, we were all in quarantine. It was a very fun time, but it was far less significant. There were other Battle Royale games such as Warzone that were taking off that other players played as well. Not as many people played Fortnite during that time. It was fun, but a lot of the player base spread out because they didn't like what Fortnite was doing. Yes, the player count will be very high, way higher than it is now, but it will not even compete to OG Chapter 1. And think, they can't do this again. If they did this for Chapter 3, it would not make sense at all. They would have to go all the way back to Chapter 1, and then it would just be too repetitive. There's no surprise. That's the thing with... Okay, here's the thing with Epic Games. Prior, they used to give the biggest surprises. I just want you to think back to the Rocket event. No one had any clue what was going to happen. There was no leaks back then. No one knew what was truly going to happen. And if they did, it would have completely changed the game and how it is today. And after the Rocket event, we had Season 5 with the rifts. Everything in the game. You know what? This is the perfect explanation. Everything in the game had a purpose. Think of it again. Think of your favorite item in Chapter 1. It had a purpose, an actual purpose, instead of throwing it in there just to give people more content that isn't necessarily good. Let that stick with you. I want you to think of that whenever OG Fortnite 2 comes back. Think of that. Another thing with Fortnite is the consistency in the game. Along with items having a purpose in the game, skins having any cosmetic, anything in the game having a purpose. It's not consistent anymore. Back in Chapter 1, everything was consistent. Everything was on the rails of a storyline. Went into Chapter 2, was on the rails of a storyline. However, near the middle of Chapter 2, Fortnite realized our player base is dying. What do? We cut it off early. I don't even remember what happened. I don't know when we went to Chapter 3, but then they cut it off, went on a completely different side of the railroad track, and felt that they could go their own direction because they were this multi-billion-dollar company that at one point had the best game in the world. However, now, it's not consistent. I want you to look. If we go back to Chapter 2, they will have to keep it in Season 1 throughout Season 4. That's the only seasons they can do because after that, everything was derailed. Also, Donald Mustard retired. A lot of y'all might not know that, but Donald Mustard was one of the original creators for Fortnite, and he also helped create the storyline. He is not directing OG Chapter 2, so we have these new developers and new creators that are bringing this back that don't understand really and truly what has happened. The last thing I want to touch up on is the realism. Look now and look at Chapter OG and see how different the graphic style is. Fortnite needs to go back to the original simple style. Like I've said this entire video, it needs to be simple. It is too complicated. They're trying to do too much whenever if they do less and focus more on the quality of the items, they will make more money. That's what they don't understand. People will play the game if it's simple. It's too wild now. I think what they're trying to do is that I think they're diverting their attention to younger audiences just because their attention span is so much lower. I mean, you can see it now. All of these map creators are making millions and millions of dollars just because Fortnite doesn't want to do the actual work. They want other people to do the work for them, which yes is understandable, but that is not Fortnite. Fortnite is a battle royale game and also save the world game. They don't focus on save the world. They don't focus on battle royale. That's why so many of these players have stopped playing the game. It is too much of a money grab now. In my opinion, all of these new chapters, all of these new seasons, even the next season OG, I wish they would be innovative. Why can't they just stick with the innovative ideas and original ideas that would then boost the performance of the game? So here's my opinion. Will it work? I believe it'll work short term. Why? Think about the players in even Chapter 2. During quarantine, everyone was playing, but it was still simple to the point where anyone could play it and understand it. I do believe it'll do well. However, Fortnite has a very crucial task, and that is making Chapter 6 original, making it simple along with it being innovative. If they do that, I believe that they could retain all of the original players. However, if they don't, the same thing will happen again, where they will have a peak player count for over a month once Chapter 6 drops. Only for the first few weeks of Season 1 will people be playing, but after that, it'll go back to the player base that we have now. Anyways, it's been your boy Tricky. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you would like to check out my latest video, it would be on the left side of the screen. And also, I just got an item shop code. It's code TRICKYS in the item shop. I would really appreciate it if y'all could support me. Also, hit the like button and sub if you did enjoy. But other than that, it's been your boy Tricky, and I'm out. Peace.